Hello guys, welcome to the next Banter Blitz. Today is the start of the best Open in the world. Grenke in Karlsruhe. It's the first time after moving to Germany that I'm missing that event, actually. You probably understand why my form is not very good. You probably experienced that pretty well during our recent Banter Blitz sessions, so I'm playing really badly. But there is also another reason why I'm staying at home and why I am with you this time. In any case, I'm really happy to play against you. And actually, this time I'm going to play a bit better than last week. So most likely we'll have a bit more to learn, a bit more, spectacular things. Well, at least I will do my best. In any case, just as usual, drop me a message in chat on Chess24 if you can hear me, if you can see me well. And we're going to start just right now. As usual, I'm going to pick several challenges from guys I've never played before, and then we'll see. All right. So Shelling Force says, same here, missing the event for the first time. Wished I could have played there. Wow, I actually hoped that you would be there so that I would not be beaten as usual, but okay. Probably, it's just a fate. All right, let's go. Of course, just kidding. Let me see who's there. Let me see. Okay. So it feels like I've played to each and every one from this list. Still searching for somebody I've never ever played before. I mean, even a single game. And here is one guy from Italy. Okay, I'll accept that challenge. Wow, it disappeared in just a sec. Accept the challenge. And here we go. We're playing with white pieces. Let's go. Okay, Olaf says all okay. Is there a lag on chat, or it's just my feeling? Okay, let's start the attack immediately. I don't remember what is better, g4 or h4. Let's try h4. So just h4, then g4, like this. Rolling our pawns on the king side. No stops. h5, okay. Let's play g5, grabbing some space. Obviously the attack is stopped for some time, but I think we will get back to that a bit later. Like f4, f5 is a resource here. All right. And queen to a5, that's interesting. I'm curious if I should play bishop c4 in such a situation. No, I think it's better to start with knight to f2. Maybe I will regret. c5 is very good, actually. Looks very nice. So how to continue my development? How to continue my development? Bishop to b5, maybe. Bishop b5, just a6, so what? Bishop c4, I don't like this move because of knight to b6. Attacking my bishop, then when my bishop goes away, there is c4 with the tempo. Interesting stuff. I don't know what to do here already. So maybe just c3. c3 takes. So just opening the position a lot, and my king is still in the center. Okay, let's just develop more pieces. I don't know. cd4, bishop d4, and then at some point knight e5, maybe even immediately. f3 is under attack, so I don't see anything better than bishop to e2. protecting it and maybe intending to play f4. I think knight c6 was very strong. Just knight to c6, and I guess my position is just lost, or very close to. Positionally, because bishop on d4 just doesn't belong here. Andrey Ostrovskiy is here as well. Nice. So my opponent is thinking now. The bishop takes c2. Yeah, was expected. And now what? It's queen e2, knight to f3 check. Queen f3, bishop d4. Knight goes to d3. Then if b3, then c3. That's fine. But in general, I don't like that position. On the other hand, I don't think I have a choice here. So let's take. Yeah, very sad position. Very, very sad that knight on h3 is especially bad. And this 1600s guy is playing pretty well. Probably has just started on chess 24. But knight c6 is strange. Knight to f3 was a move. Knight to f3 was very good, I guess. Now we can just come back to d2 if we want. And I think we do want that. To control dark squares a bit better. To control d4 to start with. Alright, this gives me this tempo. I mean, we're going to regroup a bit. One knight is on d3, another one is on f2. And look, our position is no longer that bad, I guess. So everything is under control, at least it feels like that right now. What happened? Queen to c4 was played, okay. So now, just castling short. But then knight goes to d4. Maybe just c3, but then bc3. Queen c3 takes. No, I don't like that pawn structure. On the other hand, let it be. Come on. Let's just simplify the things a bit. To eliminate unnecessary tactics and try to achieve something in this ending. Okay. Yeah. Let it be here. And this is an improvement for white. So I was right, practically, to go for ending, actually. Because my opponent probably doesn't have that great technique here. And hence, we're having some chances. So the point was that my pawn on c3 was weak. And after knight c5, c5 is close. I'm not even talking about the fact that I'm winning a pawn, most likely. So even if I don't, it's a good change for white. Change of the situation, I mean. All right, now, what should be the right move? Let's put the rook on d1. Open file with the intention of occupying the 7th rank. Just a blunder immediately. All right, let's go to the 7th rank. What else? Obviously, rook to b1 was better. Just the same idea, but not blundering anything, okay? Rook there. I have to play this move. I have to play this move. So everything is forced. And I don't think it was bad for me. Yeah, but there was another blunder of mine. I'm curious if after 94 I can just take on e7. Maybe that's the point. Okay. So now what if we attack the knight in order to play a7 next move? Now this looks good. And we can take that pawn. So 2 pawns up now. Very good position. Okay, let's put the rook on b7, controlling all the squares that knight could potentially occupy. King cannot go to the back rank. Should be easily winning position now. So, rook a5. Okay, let's just centralize the king gradually. 33 seconds, but I think it's anyway manageable. So at the moment we were going to play f5 after this check. After this move, knight e5 is probably better, just attacking f7. So several checks are possible, but then at some point... Oh, this is a big blunder. It's the knight, the whole knight. Yeah, it's going to be lost for black now. Absolutely, I mean. It is already lost after I won the second pawn, I think. Check. And promotes the pawn. Yeah, there is no stalemate whatsoever, so... Now it should be absolutely winning. Okay. So, I was very, very close to losing the game in the opening stage, I think. After bishop takes d4, knight e5 was strong. And then after bishop e2, I think another knight should go to c6. Just challenging this bishop immediately. Hell, I don't know what to do here. Bishop e3 most likely, because losing the dark squared bishop in such a situation is equal to losing the game. Here black should have something. Even like knight takes f3. No, this doesn't work, I guess. Although it looks nice, but it's not enough. So there is a threat of bishop c3, but I can castle protecting the rook. And I'm still fighting here, probably. But even this position is probably better for black. Like, look at my pawn structure. Everything is destroyed here. Yeah, very, very bad position. But I don't think black even needs that. So, a simple development move like bishop e6 should do. Intending knight to c4. Or bishop to c4, it depends. Like, say, let's say f4. Knight to g4 is also an interesting option. Knight to c4 is just good enough. I hate this position, so black is just having an amazing version of Sicilian. So, a dream position. With pair of bishops, everything is active. I don't think white is going to survive it. So, what else? If not f4, then what? b3 is definitely not possible. Rook on a1 is hanging, and there is also bishop c3 resource. I mean, after taking on f3, it's probably castling, but then again, just knight to c4 is good enough. Yeah, just lost position for white. That was very strong for black. Okay, I was very lucky in this game. Okay, I should pull it together. Otherwise, I'm going to lose each and every game. My God. So let's see if there is somebody. Okay, just decline. Oops, that was accidental, or maybe that was correct. I don't know. I declined the challenge from a non-premium user, but maybe I accidentally declined also a challenge from a premium user. Just check if your challenge is still there. And if I actually declined one of your challenges, sorry for that. Was going to make my life easier, just as usual. It doesn't work. Okay, Mike Goering, we have played. Mr. Normal Name, we have played. Is there anybody I've never played before? Yeah, the guy from Colombia. Let's accept. And black pieces. Okay. And we're waiting. We are waiting for some time. and then we'll abort the game. Yeah, here we go. d4, knight f6. Call brace here. Nice. b6. Queen's Indian. But then immediately go into close Catalan. That's what I'm playing nowadays. But it's not very clear if I can even say that I'm playing nowadays anything, because my last tournament game was in Bundesliga. Well, technically second Bundesliga. And that is what I call playing, so playing 14. I don't remember my last serious tournament, so I'm not actually playing. Question from Olaf. Andrey, do you speak German? Ja, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Englisch spreche ich viel besser. Okay, e4. So let me remember, what is the trick here? D takes c4 should be possible. D takes c4. Now let's try this move. Question from Mike Goering. Are you still playing for Norderstedt? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I'm doing. And a5, giving me a chance to take on b3 with the tempo. Let's do it. And bring the knight to d5, amazing position. That was probably a blunder. I understand my opponent expected me to play knight to d5, then to take on c4 with the pawn, but no, that's not what we do here. That is nice, bishop a3. Look, if we exchange bishops, there is knight e4, knight d6 maneuver. Very annoying. So instead, I guess we should just close that diagonal for the bishop. And that goes to e1. Sort of pinning my knight. I don't know, now we can consider just taking on d4 because e5 will be heading. Wow, and it's a big difference. It's a big difference now. Yes, dark squared bishops are exchanged. There is a hole on d6, but first of all, I'm 2 pawns up, and I'm grabbing this one on e5, I think, easily. That's a good question. To play knight b4, knight takes c5, both look winning. I think knight b4 is a bit cleaner, because we exchange light squared bishops, which should be also good for black. So we're attacking the queen now. Takes on g2. Oh, I expected I would have knight to c2. Wow, I'm blundering in each and every game. What am I doing, huh? But I can go back to c6 on the other hand and take on e5. Yeah, good. It's anyway good for black. And now I can take here because my queen on e7 is protected. So queen e7, knight e7 would be nice. This exchange of queens is also not so bad. Now let's take there. Probably rook c6 was a bit better. Because now what do we have? We have knight a5, but then c5. But then knight b3 and takes on c5. Yeah, let's go there. Attacking the weakness, a new one. And that's what I've planned. To attack the rook on a1 and the pawn simultaneously. So how many pawns do I have after this operation? I guess 3. 3 extra pawns. Should be, yeah, enough for winning the game. And now the rook. Yeah, too many blunders. Interesting moment was after d takes c4. So I think that after knight takes c4, I can play c5. Okay, this should be fine in general. Attacking e4, that's the idea. Queen takes c4 is another story. There is c5 also possible. B takes c4 was interesting. That was probably the right move, with the idea of playing e5. And I'm absolutely not sure that I'm still fine here. Probably h6 was already too slow. Maybe c5 was the right move. Or at least after e4, it was better for me just to take several times on e4, then play knight f6, then some like queen c7 followed by c5. Yeah. After dc4, I think bc4 is correct. I have a feeling that white should be just better. e5 was obviously a blunder. So after cb3, I have a very nice square here on d5 and extra pawn at the same time. So I guess it's already a very hard position for white, although it was still possible to play better, like knight to e4 or knight to c4, intending to occupy d6, trying to compensate missing material with pair of bishops or something and some active play. Definitely not knight e1, because after that move, I'm just taking on d4. I'm 2 pawns up now. e5 is hanging, so it's definitely lost. All right. Okay, let's go on and look for somebody else I've never played before. And it will be the last game. And then we will get to the normal order of challenges. I'm predicting a good beating from Shelling Ford, because you can see I'm just blundering in each and every game. That's very, very poor level of play. Doesn't feel like we have anybody I've never played before. I've played against each and every one from the list at least once. So let's take somebody I've played the list. Is there... Yeah, here is Talas, for example. I've played only one game. So let's accept that challenge. And after that game, we're getting to the normal order of challenges. Okay, playing with black pieces. Let's try to play a normal game, like without blunders at least. Talas, it's your turn. Okay. e4, e5. Knight to c3. Alright, knight to f6. Vienna? No, bishop c4, but it's probably also called Vienna. I don't know. I have no idea. Now let's go to a5. Grabbing that bishop. It doesn't necessarily make my position better. It doesn't, in fact. But you know me. I'm always happy to grab a bishop. Let's take it now. So should we play aggressively here or just play d6 simply? I will just play d6. I don't think it's that bad. It's just okay. Let's play c6. And it's another blunder. I didn't consider f takes c5. I know I will have some compensation for that pawn, but the idea was not to blunder in this game. I failed. Right, excuse me for that. I'm really distracted a lot these days, you know. It's really hard to focus because I'm preparing for very, very important event in my life. So it's gonna happen very, very soon. And after it happens, I will obviously let you know what was that, in fact. So I'm thinking mainly about that, not about chess. All of the time, I mean. Alright, my opponent is probably calculating f takes c5, d5, and knight takes c5. Okay, to save a bit of time, you know. I don't think there is a tactical refutation, so if you want to take that pawn, you can do that. The question is, do you really want to do that? Maybe you want to play f5. I'll understand. I'll accept that. What's going on? Am I still online? Yes, I am. So probably that's my opponent. Thinking hard. Or maybe my opponent is also distracted. So let's try to think about it. F takes c5, d5, knight takes c5. We're pawn down. The only compensation, possibly, some initiative on dark squares, but I don't see how to organize that. So let's say we castle, then bishop goes to e3. So what is next? Something like attacking the knight with the queen c7, or maybe bishop d6 followed by knight g4? Maybe. Maybe like that. Something like that. But if not taking on e5, then what? Like castling. Castling is normal move. f5 is interesting. I don't know what's going on. Where is my opponent? Okay. So probably he was distracted indeed. Knight takes c5, and let's just castle. Now I have an amazing advantage in time, right? This is going to help me a bit. But just a bit. I mean, this position doesn't look that great for black. Just a pawn down. There is no visible compensation for it. Okay, let's just spin the knight, let's say. Yeah. There's probably no compensation whatsoever. Queen e7, then castling. Bishop b3, queen e3, so what? Nothing. Bishop b4, castling. No, there is no compensation. Probably bishop g4 was stupid. No, let's protect the bishop. Castling. Can I play knight d5 now? Knight e5, knight e5, c d5, bishop takes c5, queen c5, just d4. Doesn't work. What can I do though? I don't have anything. This looks at least not so simple to parry. Especially if you have like some seconds only on the clock. It's 91 probably. That was not forced at all to go this passive, and now I have some play, I guess. Just f5, undermining the pawn, intended f4, and so on. So if I take on e4, knight takes g4, I take on f3, queen takes f7, f takes g2, king g2, bishop takes back, and position is materially equal. So I think we should try it. Queen is hanging now. Yeah, so I think there was an accidental win. My opponent actually lost a lot of time in the opening. Obviously, after this knight takes c5, I didn't have sufficient compensation, I guess. That's because of my blunder. I played c6 and blundered f takes c5. My god, it's just so bad. Very, very bad. All right, anyways, so what to say here? Instead of playing knight to d1 after knight to d5, I think it was okay just to take on d5 with the knight. After cd5 to take there. After queen takes there. Oh, d4 was not possible because of bishop takes f3. That's my blunder again. But okay, queen f2 is something playable here. White is still a pawn up. There is no pin anymore. I think after this exchange, white just captures this way. Or maybe even with the king. Why not? So it's an ending stage, right? Endgame stage. So takes, then king e3 or something. Yeah, it will be probably not so simple to win this position, but it's still position with the extra pawn, right? Why not? So there was a better way to play that. Okay. Now back to normal order of challenges. Johann Wilhelm Möbius is the next. And again, white pieces, so Sicilian, I suppose. So last week, I was black, and there was Rui Lopez, and Johan completely outplayed me. So let's see what is going to happen this time. It's Najdorf. Knight d5. And knight d7, okay, queen d3. Takes, castling. Typical position. Okay, now. Let's go c4. Yeah, it's always a good question. What to do against f5? It's possible to play f4. It's possible to play f3. What is better? That's a good question. It's always a good question. Let's try something more active. Let's say f4. The idea is that if black plays e4 or it takes on f4, there is d4 square for my knight, and from there it can go to e6. A big hole in black's position. Can we take on e5 now with the same idea? So if knight takes on e5, then there is d4 square for me. And if pawn takes, then just c5 immediately. And then quickly d6. I think it's promising. So let's try that. Now simply queen d2. There is knight d4, knight e6, right? Very annoying. Dark squares are also weak after black played all this g6, f5 stuff. c4, potentially a problem, but I don't think it's a big deal. Right now, what I can see is this hole on e6, and I'm curious how black is going to cover it. Kasparov asks, isn't this a Sveshnikov a la Magnus? No, it's neither. The pawn structure, I understand why you asked. The pawn structure is similar, no questions, but position is different. So, queen d7. Okay, let's jump there to e6. Strong knight. What is next? The knight controls g5, so we don't have to cover that square with the bishop anymore. So I think d4 should be occupied by the bishop to exert some pressure, additional pressure on that knight on e5. Now the question is where to move my queen. I think e3 is a nice position for it. So we control a lot of squares now. A lot of squares. Lots of squares. Our plan is still to play c5 at the right moment. The question is how to implement that. With the rook on d1 simply, just rook d1 and then c5. That's one possibility. Another possibility is to undermine f5 with the g4. I have just noticed that. This may be interesting. Let's do it. This looks very promising. So if takes on g4, then queen e4. If knight g4, then bishop g4, and then queen e4. f5 is hanging. I may consider even something like gf5, rook f5, queen e4. But what I want to do, in fact, is just to take on f5, open up the g file, then play king h1, and put the rook on g1 with the attack. Something like that. Depends on what black is doing now. Mike Goering says, find it great that you afterwards shortly analyzing. Yeah, that's my style. That's what I do. What was that? Was it just a blunder? Feels like that. Because now I'm just taking on d4 with the queen. I hope I don't blunder something simple, and now knight on e4. Drops. PT fact for black. So extra minor piece. It's over. Well, basically it was over after I played knight to e6, because this position is gradually winning for white strategically. But of course I didn't expect I will win that fast. So g4, I guess some like moving the bishop away was a bit, wow, this looks awful, I understand, but what to do on the other hand? Let's say we takes. This is also very bad, like simple king h1 with the idea of rook g1, let's say. And I don't know what to do. Maybe bishop to g7 was better than bishop to h8, but then I can take that bishop at any moment. This takes again, simple king h1, I think. Bishop h5 is always there, rook to g1. Yeah, it's going to be very hard for black to survive it, okay? So, yeah, probably f5 is just too early. Or maybe it was better for you to try the other route for the knight. So, I mean, after f5, okay, g6 takes here. So the knight is probably needed somewhere to cover e6, maybe on c7 or g7. I know both are ugly positions for the guy, but maybe it's something you have to do here. Just knight to g7, let's say. Will be not so simple for me. Let's say I'm playing this, then queen goes to d7, covering that square. And I still have to prove I have anything here. Because now if I want to get there, I have to exchange my dark square bishop. But I don't believe it's a good idea. So let's say if I play that, or it just goes to c8, attack in there, and, well, position is unclear to me. Again, maybe I'm blundering something. All right, so here we go, shelling forward. Will be very hard. It's always hard, but today it's going to be especially hard because I'm playing like a moron. All right. Let's try at least. I want to repeat the line from the previous week, if there will be a repetition, of course. c4 immediately, all right. And then immediately f6. Is that something that was played then? I don't remember, actually. E takes f6. b3. First of all, I don't understand what is the right way of playing it. Okay, let's try something like this. Maybe it's exactly what I've played last time. I don't remember. Okay, so should I give that check? I think it's a good idea. And now queen e2. So g6, now I have this h5 resource. Okay, knight goes to f3. This looks logical for now. The only problem, I'm a bit behind in development. This is annoying. But f6 is a huge hole in black's position. So let's put the bishop on g5. To move it to f6 if there is a chance. And there will be a chance. Another idea is to blockade g6 in advance. And oh, here I have some interest in resources. For example, what if I play knight d4 now? I think it's possible to regroup this way. Using the fact that knight on e7 is hanging. So this is going to improve my position. If bishop d4, then just cd4. Queen d4, I'm taking the knight. After this move, first of all, I'm not forced to do anything specific, but I can also go back to e3 with the bishop. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Maybe it's not correct, but I'm trying to support my knight. Also, rook to d1 was good. Yeah, I missed that move. Rook to d1 was better than bishop e3, 100%. Still keeping that knight pinned, that's what I mean. Yeah. So I want to play either bishop h3 and then castling, or even f4. Maybe I want too much. Maybe just bishop g2, in fact. So d4, cd4, queen d4, queen takes c4 check, takes with the bishop. Exchange of queens. This is gonna be annoying for me. On the other hand, do I have anything better? I can take on c4 immediately, but that's the same story. That's the same story. The story with no happy ending, I believe. So let me think. I'm very close to a completely lost position. So queen c4 takes, rook e5 check. I don't have a good move, so if I play king f1, there is bishop c6, very annoying. So what should I do now? Do I have time to play something like f4? Highly unlikely, honestly. Just bishop c6 after that. Looks pretty much lost. On the other hand, that rook is out of place, so maybe I'm not completely lost there. Oh, come on. Now, I guess we will play this move. At least bring in the rook to the game quickly. Queen takes c5, I think. After queen e5, we'll play f4, grabbing some space. But we're gonna be pawn down. But okay, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to be a pawn down. It's much better just to be alive in this position, I think. If bishop h3 then takes e2, king e2, and rook e5. The same problem. I don't have a good square. So let's try to force the exchange of queens this way. Of course, if black wants the exchange of queens. Yeah, there's always a chance to avoid it. Oh my goodness. Here is my blunder. Yeah, I have noticed that. I forgot that the queen on a5 is protected. Yeah, bishop a4 was probably even stronger. But there is no difference, in fact. There is just no difference. Maybe there is. Maybe there is, because I'm not losing the rook now. Right? So. Bishop a4 was winning the rook, because if queen a5, then rook d1 check. Okay, so now we're still in the game, although we're having an awful position, but we're still in the game. That's important. Wow. I'm pretty amazed Schelling didn't find it. It's pretty much in his style, his tactics. So we need some sort of regrouping, I think, to attack something in the opponent's camp. This position should be lost, of course, but it was much more lost just a second ago. Attack. Oops. Let's check. Guys, I'm going to win this, or no, I'm not going to win this. It's a draw. All right. Fantastic game. I mean, fantastic game. In the sense of result, of course. I was playing like a moron, just as usual. But somehow, Schelling didn't find bishop a4. Maybe he was not winning, but I think it was, actually. Same story. Like, queen d2 was an amazing blunder. So just bishop a4. Queen is pinned. I cannot take the rook on d8. And my queen is hanging now. And if I take on a5, there is rook d1 check first. And it's over. Now rook takes a5. I didn't notice the queen was protected. So bishop a4 actually wins the game. Yeah, was lost here. And hence, after queen a5, I had to play some like king f2. This looks awful. Equally bad for white. Just queen c5, let's say. No, that's just a bad position. I made my mistake here. In fact, there was an interesting position in general here. Instead of bishop e3, which was stupid, just going away with the bishop from an active position, just play rook d1. Rook d1 is the move. The same idea, just to support the knight, to replace it with the rook, have this dark square blockade. And I don't know, maybe white is better here. Because if there is no direct punishment for this, lack of development, white is gradually going to improve his position, like g3, bishop h3, castling. And then white is simply having no weaknesses while black is having a lot of dark squared holes and typical problem with that light squared bishop. And okay, bishop a4 is a possibility, but there is no real way to improve that guy, I believe. So it's a, complicated position, but it's definitely much better than playing bishop e3. Bishop e3 was just stupid. After that, knight f5 immediately, and everything is just fine for black. Takes. Yeah, probably that was just too slow for such a situation. I had a feeling that rook to d1 should be correct, but with the idea of meeting d4 with cd4, I think I'm fine there. And if black doesn't do that, I'm going to play rook to d4. But somehow I underestimated d4 because I thought that, I could take on c4 anywhere, at any moment. But it was not true, so that's how it works. So if I take on c4, then takes, check. I guess I cannot go to the d file because of bishop b5, and I'm going to lose there just quickly. And if I play king to f1 instead, there is bishop c6. That is what I missed. So the pawn structure is probably not so bad for white, even good. But here is a concrete thing. So there is a problem with that diagonal, with rook coming to d2 and so forth. That's the problem. So queen takes d4. Yeah, I think this position is already very close to lost for white. Probably already lost. Yeah, so the last chance for me was to play rook to d1, and I'm still okay here, I think. So if rook goes there, no, there is just queen c7 attacking e5. I'm not okay here anymore. Just e5 drops. Yeah, it's lost. Okay. Yeah, just rook d1, not bishop e3. That's the final conclusion. That was a move. Okay. Anyways, thank you for that. Olav, you're next. Except maybe you are the one who beats me tonight. Because I'm really close to losing in each and every game. But somehow I didn't lose a single game, which is very strange, taking into account the quality of games. Let me think. Queen b3 is the theory here. Oh, is it the first time Olaf plays bishop g4? Because normally it's something like e6. Oh, bishop goes back to c. What was that? Is it a bad joke? Or what's going on? Why? Okay. Oh, this way. This is very strange. I've never seen this before. Too many pawn moves for black. Let's undermine this stuff. All right. So e5 square is no longer protected, and I can jump there. Let's do it. We're fighting for light squares now. I don't mind capturing that bishop next move. Well, let's capture it. Alright, so we're going to win some material, I think. After simple b3 move, b5 should drop. Let's try it. But I'm curious if I should take d6 knight with my bishop just to win that pawn. Maybe it's not a bad idea. So bishop d6, cd6, just a b5. So what? Black has worse pawn structure and fewer pieces on the board. So why not? And after that, we are just taking on b5. Not even giving up a bishop. f4 for that. Okay, let's just take it. Okay, extra pawn and most likely just winning position. So quick c4 with the threat of c5. Black is still not castled. Have pair of bishops. Position is going to open very soon, so we should predict a quick win here. Tricky. So c5, knight goes to d5, attacking my bishop, and if I take on d7, knight takes on f4, with some checkmating threats. I don't like it. What should we play instead? Just bishop e3, but it's too passive. Simply bishop h2, I suppose. It's gonna be good. Maybe bishop g3 was a bit more accurate. I don't know. Question of taste, I believe. So let's develop the knight. Not the perfect conversion. Okay. If we can call this a conversion at all, like, looks bad, actually. Could have played much better. But anyway, we're pawn up here. That bishop is a bit limited. This pawn is very dangerous, potentially. What should be the right move here? Rook to b1, I guess, since we control the b file. The b8 square, sorry, with the bishop. Black cannot fight for that file. And potentially we can use that file. So let's move the rook exactly there. Our idea may be just to play bishop d7, then c6 quickly, c7, so on. Can we do something like that? I believe that yes. The answer to that question should be yes. Bishop d7, c6, c7, something like that. Both bishops are supporting the movement of that pawn up to c8 square, which is a promotion square. Let's go. Looks terrific. Very good position. Let Me Win says, hi Gio, we sacrifice, we don't blunder. Of course, we do always sacrifice. Blunders are for pussies. Like me. What is this? Can I play just c7? No. Knight takes c7. Oh, bishop takes c7, then attacking the rook and the queen simultaneously. And if rook takes d7, then c8, right? So, don't know. Just straightforwardly towards the c8 square. And bishop takes, attacking the queen. That was probably missed by Olaf. He thought that in that case he can... What? Just queen c3. Yeah, very strange thing. All right. Anyways, position was winning. Right after... I wanted to say right after bishop c8 move, but it's not true. Bishop c8 was still okay. I mean, it's definitely a bad move. But the main mistake was made somewhere here. So b takes a4 was probably a move. Still a chance to survive it. But this maneuver is already very bad. So b5 is under pressure. E5 square is something I can occupy easily. So after knight e5, I think strategically, white is winning already. Yeah. And here, as we may notice, I'm even winning the material. So this position is absolutely lost. Absolutely. Maybe this c4 was not the best plan, but even that was quite okay, right? So here I have a clear plan of how to convert it. So it should be also okay. Bishop c8 is not correct, obviously. Queen c8 or queen d7, two normal moves there. Always blame the mouse, except black pieces. Let's try something different. Let's try to play this c5. Usually I play like knight f6, c6, trying to get the Queen's Indian defense type of position, but I'm too tired of playing the same stuff always. So let's do something like this. Okay, let me just take that knight and play... I wanted to play a5, but there... Yeah, a5 is playable. a5 is playable here. If I manage to play a4, I will be happy. Alright, let's be happy. And now let's bring the knight to c5 gradually. Or quickly. Don't know. In any case, the pawn structure is now good for me. Let's even stop c5 here. Erg there. So should I castle? Well, I think so. Let's do that. So c4 is a weakness. b3 square is also weak. How to attack that stuff correctly. Rook to a5, knight to c5, all this typical thing for these pawn structures. I can also consider moving the queen away so that there... Oh, let's forget about it. The situation changed dramatically. Queen takes b3. Now all these pawns are weak. So should we bring this knight to a5? I mean, why not? From here, the knight attacks c4. We can bring the bishop to a6 to attack this pawn again. Now, we need our queen on e6, I believe, to attack this pawn one more time. Let's do that. Let's try it. White is having hard times, I believe. Or maybe he's having fun time. I don't know. Depends on your preferences, I would say. Oh, look at this. Now all these pawns are weak. a3, c4, c3, e4. Only g2 and h2 are good. Others are just very bad. Now I have this amazing e5 square from where I can attack c4 the third time. Yeah, 4 was the final mistake, I guess. If I'm not blundering something, huge here, like a queen or the minor piece, it's gonna be just easily winning position because all the pawns are weak. I don't have to think a lot to attack anything in white's position because literally every move attacks something. Here is our first pawn. Let's take it. Let Me Win asks, who can beat Andrey tonight? Anyone. Just don't blunder and notice when I'm blundering something, because I'm blundering in each and every game. Well, in this one, and in the previous one, I didn't blunder. And in this one, not yet. Everything can still happen. I can take on a3, but I feel like simple centralization should be more interesting. Because, that pawn will not go away. e4 is our next target. We're going to play something like f5. At least I was going to play something like f5. And I don't see why not. Well, knight b3 was a move. This could have been another blunder, by the way. But my opponent didn't notice. Oh, look at this. Rook e4, queen e4, fe4, takes, knight e6, king e7, knight takes c5. Is that what my opponent prepared for that? Really? It's really deep. Cool indeed. I cannot take on e4. Wow. Fantastic. So what should I do? Let's play f4. Nice. I mean, rook e4, queen e4, takes on f8, king f8, knight e6, knight c5, just like in Tactics Trainer. Extra exchange. I think there is no compensation for black there. Simply. Okay, let's occupy this square, finally. Terrible conversion of the advantage. Terrible. Covering h5, that's the idea, to prevent queen to h5. The only factor that really helps is that my advantage is so big that even, blundering some things here is not critical. But nothing changes. I'm blundering in each and every game. Except for the previous one, except for the game against Olaf, I guess. It was the only game without blunders, but there I was really lucky in the opening stage because Olaf gave me a huge advantage almost immediately there. Alright, queen h7 is the threat. What to do? Rook f7 I think is still fine. Covering everything critical here. Okay, now let's just take there, or just queen c3 instead. Let's take that pawn first. Simplifying the things. Queen there. Okay, let's just play this move. Protecting f4 and again offering the exchange of queens. Now let's put my queen on g6, intending g4. Yay! g4. Now, of course, my position was winning even without this trick. So, yeah, there is nothing to discuss. There was an interesting moment after I played rook a to e8. There was a knight to b3 move somewhere. No, after f5, I mean. Here, rook f1 was also interesting, but what about this? Where to go with the queen? No, probably I'm just overestimating white's chances here. Just queen c6, in fact. After knight e4, I even have this. Oops. I have almost lost my chat. Fuchsia is here. That was probably the reason why I got so excited. Anyway. So queen e4, maybe queen f1. The problem is that my knight is here, but now I can just, you know, move my queen somewhere to a4 maybe. No, it should be cool for black. Should be all right, this position. But what white played was really nice. I mean, was it intended or not? But I cannot take an e4 after rook f1. So takes, 96. Cool, isn't it? If I take dc5, well, my pawns are torn, and there is no hence clear compensation. Maybe there is some, but not more than that. And if I take with the b pawn, I think white should easily win after a4. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. d5, d4 is also something that I can play rather quickly. So there may be some compensation. But anyways, nice line. Out of nowhere. Just, you know, something that happens not so often, I believe. Okay. Thanks for the game. Kasparov fun. Accept. Blame the mouse. Sicilian. Okay. Gonna be interesting. Oh, a6 immediately. Okay. Let's play c4 prior to moving the knight to c3. I've never played this pawn structure with the bishop on g2, I think. Should I try it? Or just develop the pieces the traditional way, I mean. Let's play this. It's not going to be bad. Very nice stuff. Knight to c6. Let's take it. Come on. f4. e5. e5. I'm not even calculating this stuff. I don't know why. Probably I'm sure that, well, everything is under control, but, well, previous games actually show us that it's not the case. It's never under control when you're blundering like crazy. So, f5. Interesting. Interesting choice now. Position is gradually closing. I don't like it, so let's take it. And put the bishop somewhere. I don't know where. The b2 is one choice. Another one is a3 after, say, knight to a4, bishop somewhere, then bishop a3. Of course, if bishop goes away from that diagonal, I'm not sure it will happen. But let's try. I mean, that bishop is irritating, so it's a good idea to get rid of it, I suppose, in general. And if bishop indeed goes away to a7, I can play bishop a3, attacking the rook, and then bishop c5, exchanging that guy. And then fighting for dark squares, which is typical for this pawn structure. All right, let's do it. Looks like a tempo move to start with. Then bishop to c5, I guess. maybe not that fast. E5 is coming. So bishop c5 takes with the knight. There is e5. Not so clear if I'm getting anything there. There may be a problem with my rook on f3 because of bishop g4 threat. Should I just move that rook to g3, let's say? Then again, e5 is unclear to me. Maybe just bishop to b2. Or something like queen e1. Queen e1 may be an interesting choice here. Let's try it. Controlling e5 square, preparing rook to d1, for example. Controlling a5, preventing queen to a5, so. Yeah. Not bad, I suppose. And what's important going away from that annoying bishop g4 trick, because I believe it was a threat. The question is what black is going to do with the light squared bishop. Bishop b7 was played. Okay. But now, if I blockade c6, it's going to be lost strategically for black. That bishop is just too bad. What's interesting, nothing is blundered yet. And looks like my pieces are protecting each other. Except for that knight on c5, but I don't see how black can exploit that fact. Folks say, everyone fallen asleep again. Of course, yes. Because it's not a Banter Blitz of Magnus Carlsen. It's a Banter Blitz of Andrey Ostrovskiy. Typical thing. Everyone is sleeping. Even I'm sleeping right now. So, bishop c8. Now it's very tempting for me to bring the rook right to d1. I'm not sure if it's giving me anything specific, though. So maybe queen to h4 instead. But then everything starts hanging. I don't like it. That's why rook to d1. And that's a blunder, I think. Oh my goodness. Maybe again, not so critical, but still a blunder. So my rooks are in the same diagonal. So e5 was probably possible, intended bishop to g4. Giovanni says, what about Mark today? No support from the background. Yeah, no support this time. He's visiting his grandparents right now. But maybe in a few minutes he'll be back. I don't know. Most likely no. Fuchsia says, you explain your mistakes better than Carlsen his brilliances. I would happily swap our places, honestly. All right. Queen e5 or queen h4. Now queen h4. Let's go there. Black is having some problems, excuse me, with the coordination, so probably it's a good moment to start the attack. Oh my god. I'm coughing. Where's Chronic Student to say that I should quit smoking? Okay. Let's go for attack, finally. I'm having some sort of, tangible target. Everything is hanging there. Knight on f6, pawn on h6. Okay. Let's just play rook g6. It's a big hole in black's position. There is a threat of rook f6 potentially. Maybe just right now, in fact. Knight is gonna come back to c5, I think, very soon. So white's attack is very simple to perform. Okay, let's bring the knight. Let's bring the knight to action. So should I sacrifice the exchange? I mean, why not? Let's do it. Oh, this is a checkmate. Okay. So Giovanni says, Andrey, you should drink some Norwegian beer and play what? Let me just expand that. And play some suspicious music in the background like Magnus Carlsen does when he's streaming on Lead Chess. Maybe. I don't know. Nothing will help anyway, because I'm playing like an idiot. At least these days. Maybe the situation will change like in 1 month or 2. But for now, it's just a story of my life. All right, when everything went wrong, I think bishop b7 was not correct. And to be completely honest, this bishop a7 to start with, I would have chosen d6 square to step back. Taking into account that white's f4 pawn is not so well protected. So maybe black can have some counterplay against that pawn specifically. So moving the knight somewhere, maybe even to e4 next move, and then f4 is hanging. Or maybe just focusing on some like c6, c5, then bishop b7, trying to improve the bishop. Because this is not going to help. After this, I control almost all dark squares, and I think after bishop b7, bishop c5, I'm strategically winning. That's the thing. All right, I think it's the time for the last game for this episode. And here's one guy from Croatia we have never played before. And this is probably the guy who's going to beat me. The only winner for this episode. Let's see. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. I'm trying to predict what's going to happen in this game, or maybe just d4 and complete boredom, like knight f6, knight f3, London or something. I know, where's my opponent? What's going on? He's not very responsive, so that's a board. Okay, next one is Jose Moya. Accept. This guy is going to beat me, I think. So 2700s, good enough to beat me. e4. Jose, are you there? Andrey, do you play the Ukrainian Indian sometimes? D4, knight f6, c4, d6, knight c3, e5. Have never tried it, actually. Never, ever. I don't think it's good for black. It used to be very popular many years ago. But I think if white just plays d5 and grabs the center, it's just bad. Simply bad for black. It doesn't mean you don't have to try that. Yeah, bishop e6 is interesting. I mean, it definitely gives me very good play here. It's interesting why black played bishop e6. In fact, bishop e7 is the right order of moves to avoid it, normally. So now black is going to have some serious problems, I think. So knight e5 is good, queen g3, I mean, what to do here? Let's just start with king b1. And then put the knight on d5. Very simple plan. Takes with the pawn or with the queen. Well, let's take with the pawn. Tempo move. Probably I'm misplaying it. Don't know. Have pair of bishops now and some prospects of attack on the king's side. After simple queen h3, bishop d3, something like that. But we should somehow combine it with knight d4, knight f5 resource. And I'm not sure what is the right mix to it. Let's just start with knight d4 to make sure we will not miss that opportunity a bit later in the game. So it feels like I'm having more space here. And simply position looks nice, right? So Ukrainian Indian, look, taking on e5 is not the main line. The main line is knight to f3 and then e4. That's what I think is the main line, which really makes black's position quite dubious. So we're simply lacking the space. White is having several good options to develop the light script, bishop to g2 or usually to g2, yeah. Look at one of my episodes dedicated to Smyslov. I have discussed one of his games. There is also a classic game, Yusupov Rubinetti. So very convincing. Okay, g4. Let's go. g5. Obviously, after knight c7, we'll have to play bishop f3 first. So let's just bring the knight back, I suppose, and connect the other pawn. Or we can alternatively just attack the bishop on e7 with queen e3. And knight e5 looks like the only defense. Bishop takes c5, d takes c5, then d6. Doesn't it win? It's very close to winning the game, actually. Bishop e5, d5, d6, knight takes d6, or bishop takes d6. If knight takes d6, then queen e5. If bishop takes d6, then knight takes d6, knight takes d6, queen e5, queen goes to c7, queen takes d6, queen c2 check, and then takes on e2. Well, it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite work. Okay. Yeah, Johan Wilhelm Mebbes said that there is a possibility to play queen e3 before playing g5. Yeah, I agree. I didn't even look at that option. I don't know why. Was probably completely satisfied with my position. F6. It starts looking like my game against Dennis Abel in Bundesliga this season. So very similar. To take there. I don't know what is the right move, but this also looks very simple and strong. Should be just a winning position again. Maybe not so simple in general, but still very pleasant. Right, where to put this queen first? Let's go to g3. And that was really bad, so here is f5. Wow, I'm just misplaying the things here. I'm just misplaying the things. Now it's no longer winning, it's probably even worse. Oh my god, yeah. Spoiled everything like a complete batter. Okay. Where to put this queen now? Let's put it here. No, I believe I'm still better, but it's no longer that simple like a few moves ago. Oh, all right. Knight to c3. Fuck, what am I doing, huh? One blunder after another. Complete idiot. Yeah. Position was so great before that we're still having some chances after all these blunders. Fantastic. How one can misplay the game. And I mean in myself. Of course, it was so easy to win that position. As Johann Wilhelm Möbius correctly said, there was just, a simple queen e3 before playing g5, just completely squeezing black. Now, of course, it's winning, but it was not necessary to play all these moves. All right, I was lucky. I think black missed something at the end. I was not sure where there was a better chance to. I don't know. So I started playing like an idiot somewhere here. Yeah, so starting from h4, maybe even g4. No, g4 was okay. No, here. Yeah, that was a moment. Just queen e3 extra minor piece. Oh my god.
Yeah, just queen e3 and it's time to resign. Bishop has no moves and there is no way for black to protect it. Correct. G4, even after G4 it was possible, so here, just play queen e3 again. If rook c7, then G5. Yeah, even that was correct. I mean, even here, queen e3 was possible. Because there is still no satisfactory defense. After rook c7, only defense possible here, just g5. And I'm forcing the knight back to d7, and I take the bishop on e7. So, my god. So I played probably the worst 4 moves in a row. So I played g5. Well, okay, g5 is not the worst, but very close to that. So I think queen e3 was still possible here, actually. But I've calculated this strange line. Not even queen takes c5 here, but d6. And I didn't notice bishop g5 to start with, but I think after bishop g5 I'm still very close to winning, like not after queen h3, after queen g3. Still controlling the bishop and having d7 threat, h4 threat, rook g1 threat. Too many threats, I think. You know, looks good. But what I've calculated was actually this line. So takes, 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 queen e5, and then queen c7. And if I take with the queen on d6, then queen c2, queen e2. If I take with the rook, then there is simply checkmate. That's what I've calculated. I do believe I blundered a ton in this line somewhere, some, you know, intermediate moves maybe. But that's why I played h4. I just didn't want to play that queen e3. And after f6, I do believe there is something better than just taking on e7. Taking on e7 is stupid. Maybe bishop g4 first. Yeah. This is strong. Like, if knight e5, then I take on e7, take on c8. Like, intermediate move, my friend. Intermediate move. And when I'm saying my friend, I'm talking to myself. How crazy am I? So, knight e7, queen e7, bishop e6 is my idea. Another idea maybe just to attack the bishop again with rook e1 or queen e2. This is a nice line, so let's say takes, takes. Bishop e6 check, king there, h takes, g5, attacking h7, creating a threat of a checkmate. Yeah, I should be winning. Rook c7 is probably a move, or maybe rook c5, more active than anything else. Yeah, something like knight d4. I didn't even see that move, by the way. Just moving the knight back to d4 and to e6. I was so focused on that bishop on e7 that I forgot that after f6 there is just you know, again the same square like in the game against Johan Wilhelm Nubbes. All right, anyway, it's a sign that it's time to stop. Thank you guys for being with me. Thank you for spending your time. It was not very qualitative this time. I wanted to make it better than last week, but probably in the sense of quality it was even worse. Anyways, I hope that my blunders and my mistakes were educational and you've learned something new. Wish you good holidays, happy holidays, good time during this long weekend. And yeah, see you next week. See you next week with another portion of training from me. I hope. Bye-bye. Take care.